Now before we get into the video, I do want to say a massive thank you to today's video sponsors, and once again that is jerseyfifa.com. They really do help keep the content on this channel going, and they even sent me a free shirt which you can see on screen here. And as you can see, I got the new Manchester United home kit, and genuinely the kit really is top quality. I highly recommend their products. So make sure to get in a link in the description down below, and now if you use code JerseyFifa at checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. You get a great football shirt, and you help support the channel, which I really do appreciate massively. Hey everyone, welcome to the AJ Analysis channel, where today I'm going to be breaking down England's brilliant win over Germany in the Women's Euro 2022 final. Now for large parts it was quite an even game, but today we're going to be focusing solely on England and what they done well. So first things first, as we've seen all tournament long, England wanted to play their way out from the back to try and dominate the ball, and that started with the centre backs splitting wider, creating angles either side of Earps in goal. We can see this shape here with the centre back splitting here, and what it does is it means that the sole Germany striker can't press both of them at the same time, allowing England to play their way out. Now in order for this to be effective, the players have to be comfortable on the ball, and fortunately for England, Mary Earps is exactly that, regularly taking her time on the ball to make sure she picked the pass. The same can be said for the two centre backs as well, and obviously it was important that they were composed, and personally I felt that both Millie Bright and Leah Williamson were brilliant throughout the whole match and the whole tournament, to be fair. In the first half in particular, it quickly became quite apparent that the German press simply wasn't working, and this clearly played into England's hands, as Germany began to sit off, allowing England time. As a result of this time on the ball, England found themselves able to move the ball towards the middle third, from where they started off by trying to build possession in a 2-3 shape, with Kira Walsh mainly operating as a solo pivot in the middle. We can see this 2-3 shape here, and it's the same shape that England used throughout pretty much the entire tournament, with Daly and Bronze both pushing forward in line with the midfield next to Walsh. Now from this position, Walsh has been one of England's most important players throughout the summer. Because of her ability to move the ball forward through the lines, she really is the player that makes the team tick over. Another player that has been key to England's ball progression throughout the tournament has been Leah Williamson, with her incredible ability to pick the ball up before driving through the thirds, and yet again this was a key theme of the final. We can see this play here with Williamson confidently striding forward with the ball, and again with just one German forward, it made it really hard for them to track Williamson, giving her this licence. For me, this was one of Germany's biggest errors, because in my opinion Williamson has been one of the stars of the tournament, and her ability on the ball and ability to progress the play was key. Now one of the reasons that Williamson was given so much time on the ball was because Germany had their focus elsewhere. Remember how I was saying that Walsh is so key? Well, Germany done everything to try and stop her from getting on the ball. That is of course exactly what we can see here, and what you'll notice in both of these pictures is that Walsh always had someone on her back, meaning that unfortunately she was forced to play the ball quite safe. Now to be fair, Germany certainly deserve credit for this, and Magul in particular really stopped Walsh from dictating the game. However, if you watch the match, you'll know that didn't last, however it was still a problem. As Walsh continued to struggle to really get into the game, we began to see Georgia Stanway dropping slightly deeper, creating a 2-4 shape, allowing Stanway to get the ball deeper before then trying to progress the ball. In those pictures we saw earlier, we very much saw Walsh alone as the solo pivot, however now Stanway was there to help out, although importantly she was still given the attacking freedom to get forward. Again, to an extent this is something that we've seen all tournament, and Stanway's versatility and brilliant athleticism has been key throughout. This wasn't her finest display, yet she still put in a good shift. One of the benefits of asking Stanway to play in this way was that it allowed Kirby to play slightly higher. However, she was well marshalled by Germany's number 6 Oberdorf, meaning the best option was to make runs going the other way in behind. This particular phase of play happened quite early during the game, but it just showed the threat, and then as we all know, Toon came on into the same role, made the run in behind and scored a brilliant goal. Now aside from these moments, I actually thought that both Kirby and then Toon struggled a little bit, although that was mainly because of the brilliance of Oberdorf, and I think she has a big future ahead of her after this tournament. But back to England, and whilst these runs weren't always rewarded, they were still important, as they allowed Ellen White to drop deeper, something that she looked to do on quite a regular basis in order to try and link the attacking move together. This is exactly what we can see here, with White dropping deeper out wide with Kirby through the centre, and I just felt that when Russo came on and offered something slightly different, the dynamic was not as effective. Now, Ellen White's overall impact on the game probably won't be remembered by many, as she never really had much of a goal scoring chance. However, personally I felt that her link play was key. The main reason I say this is because it created space in behind the German defence, something that the wingers looked to try and exploit, with Beth Mead down the right hand side often trying to get in behind a German backline, often in this wide area. This is actually what happened with that scenario we were looking at a second ago. White dropped deep before playing the pass in behind, and for large periods it looked like this was the best way to get Mead in the game. Unfortunately for Mead, her game was finished a little bit early as she went off injured, and overall she had a bit of a difficult final, struggling to get into the game. However, her incredible performances during the tournament will be remembered. The same was actually sort of similar for Hemp over on the other side as well, although she carried a bit more of a threat, sometimes going in behind the defence, but also showing to feet in order to try and take the fullback on the dribble. In this first scenario we can see Hemp offering a similar sort of threat to what Mead did in behind the defence, although I was also impressed when she had the ball at her feet as well, and she offered a great way to get the ball moving forward. Again, a bit like Mead on the other side, Hemp struggled to really trouble this German defence, and again Germany deserve credit for that, and I think they've done a great job of snuffing out most England attacks. Overall, in terms of on the ball, this was not England's best performance, as they struggled to really create and to control. However, what will have impressed Sarina Wiegman is that they stuck to their task and continued to try and play. Crucially, I felt as though England done a great job off the ball as well, and it all started with the press from Kirby and White, with Kirby in particular doing an excellent job of following Oberdorf to stop her getting on the ball. This is very much what we can see here. We can see that White has forced Germany to play in this direction, and then Kirby has made sure to stay extremely close to Oberdorf, and we'll see that it worked well. Now, when we talk about the final in a few years' time, this isn't something that will really be remembered, but for me, Kirby was crucial. It was her positional discipline that was so crucial to stopping Germany from playing. Now, the reason it was so crucial was because it stopped Oberdorf. Now, Oberdorf ended up winning the Young Player of the Tournament award, so her quality is clear, and like Walsh for England, she is the ticking point and a tempo setter. Well, at least that is how it normally works, but not in this game, and we can see England really pressing in packs, going player for player high in the Germany half to prevent them from playing out. Now, this is something that Wiegman and all of the players deserve credit for, because it takes tactical bravery, but also incredible fitness levels and discipline to play in this way for so long, but it was key. As a result of this intense press, Germany simply couldn't play out from the back, and so more often than not in the first half they were forced to play the ball long, and again that is a massive credit to the England pressing structure for large periods. Again, during the first half this seemed to have a psychological effect on the deeper Germany players, as they ended up not even attempting to play the ball out from the back, and instead they just ended up pumping the ball long. Again, the reason this was so key is because it stopped Oberdorf, and as we saw, when you stop Oberdorf from playing, you very much go a long way to stopping Germany from playing their way. This obviously continued to play into England's hands, because the last thing you want to do against this England team is play the ball long for aerial duels, because more often than not Millie Bright is going to send that ball straight back where it came from. Ultimately, that is what happened. Germany kept playing the ball long and Bright kept sending it back. Eventually Germany switched to try and play the ball wide instead, but even there Daly was brilliant. Now, just on that, Daly is another player that will go completely under the radar, but considering she has spent this whole tournament so far out of position, I think she has done a brilliant job, as have the whole England team. It really has been a team effort. Wiegman may have selected the same starting 11 for every single game, but the subs have been vital as well, and it was no different here with Toon and Kelly scoring. Another crucial sub was Jill Scott. She may not have grabbed the headlines with a goal, but the second she came on she showed pure quality and true game state knowledge. She contested everything. Towards the end of the game that was very much the case for the whole England team. It wasn't pretty football, but the professionalism and the ability to see the game out without being threatened was really impressive. That for me was the story of the game. It wasn't the best football we've seen from England this tournament, but tactically they were almost spot on, and the players executed the game plan perfectly, and they done it all tournament. They showed grit, determination and pure quality. They were the best team and they inspired a nation, and hopefully this is just the beginning of something beautiful for women's football. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.